Hi, we're Darren and Stephanie. If you're new here, we usually like to share our international adventures and have made the most out of our few weeks of vacation each year to visit more than 30 countries together, doing things like trekking the mountains of Peru, exploring magical Slovenia, and taking in the wild landscapes and taste of Albania. Like most people, 2020 brought our international travels to a halt. And behind the scenes, Stephanie was facing an uncertain future of surgeries and health challenges, meaning we didn't know when our normal style of travel would be possible again. As we said goodbye to plane tickets to the Republic of Georgia and Armenia for August of this year, we began searching for a new hobby that would let us explore and recharge. Luckily, we had a few friends and a newly discovered Kentucky RV dealership to get us started on a new adventure.
So what are we doing?
Well, we're not sure, but we're trying to work around COVID to keep traveling a little bit. So we are a couple hours from home today in rural Kentucky, well, kind of rural Kentucky, picking up a camper. We've never really towed anything before, but we think our car can do it, according to the manual. So we're gonna go pick it up now, see how it looks, and then try to tow it 2 hours back home. As beginner campers, we picked a small travel trailer, a Forest River Rpod 180, after reading a ton of reviews online.
So we only spent about a couple weeks planning out kind of what we wanted in a camper. This was an idea that kind of grew suddenly for us. But we had been in a similar Rpod closer to home, but we bought this little guy, an Rpod 180, without actually seeing it in person until we got here.
We knew we'd be here a couple hours. They're putting a brake controlling device on our car to make towing the new camper a little bit safer. So we were just hanging out in our new tiny home while that is happening. We got kind of like a 1 hour or so training session. They walked us around and showed us every little nook and cranny of the camper inside and out, how everything worked, how to drain things, how to fill things, how to maintenance things. There's a lot to do. You're basically towing a little house down the road, so things bounce around and jostle, so maintenance is definitely a thing. We've watched a lot of other YouTubers that we follow buy RVs that need fixed up and things like that, and we don't really have that to worry about because this is new, so we're lucky in that, but we do have some decorating to do.
And now comes the hard part of trying to get it home, which we've never really towed anything before. And my Ford Edge is supposed to be able to tow something, but we've got a 2.5 hour or so drive back to Evansville into Newburgh, Indiana. So this is kind of a long trip to try it out for the first time.
Within days of bringing our little trailer home, we were ready to head out for our first weekend of camping, 10 miles from our house.
So we picked up this little guy on Wednesday, went to the house on Thursday to get it ready, which that was a little bit of an expense, but it's been a lot of fun, like decorating it and figuring out what exactly we need inside of a camper. And the good thing is we're only 10 minutes from the house and like 5 minutes from a Walmart. So as we have figured out different things that we've needed, we've been able to just run back home or run over to Walmart to get groceries or little items you need to live in an RV. And then for our first campsite, we chose a place that has full electric and sewer and water hookups, so we don't have to deal too much with the tanks. We'll have to do a little bit when we leave to give us just the easiest experience possible, and so far it's been pretty smooth. So at some point in the future we could go a little bit off the grid, but we'll have time to kind of figure those things out.
We're not ready for off the grid yet.
It's gonna be a little while.
So let's take a quick look inside and then we'll show you around the outside, and maybe we'll do some drone shots overhead or something like that to give you a little better bird's eye view of what this camper looks like. Let's go in. You can basically see the entire camper from this spot. Like we said, it's small, but it has everything we need. So it's got kind of a short queen-size bed, a little dinette area here that actually turns into a bed too to allow a third person to sleep. And then we have a little kitchen here that has a sink, 2 gas burners, a little fridge with a freezer compartment, and then this microwave that has convection, a little broiler like an oven, and microwave capabilities. So you can really kind of cook everything in it as long as your pan fits inside. If we turn around, we have our little bathroom here. We wanted a dry bathroom as opposed to a wet bathroom, so the shower didn't rain on the toilet and sink, so we didn't have to dry that off every time, and this floor plan offered that. And that was really one of the reasons we went with an Rpod instead of like the Casitas or the Scamps, because most of them had wet baths, and the Rpod had some models with dry baths. So this model actually comes with a TV and a stereo system with outdoor speakers and indoor speakers, so you can listen to your music in and out. And other than that, that's about it. It has a little bit of storage over here and some storage up here. And then this neat little vacuum on the floor that you just sweep things into. It's going to be loud. For easy cleanup in your camper. There is a bay window up front, or not a bay window, but a panoramic window that I think is new to the 180 for 2020. It is wired for solar. You can probably see this sticker up here, so you can pretty quickly add a solar setup, so you can go off the grid a little more with battery power and that kind of thing. You wouldn't be able to run your AC or your microwave off of solar, but you could run your lights, your fridge, your water heater, and I think even your TV is battery powered here. So you could go off grid pretty easily with a little bit of an upgrade. And I think that's it. So let's take a look outside. So a little bit of a nifty feature here that I think we'll get quite a bit of use out of is this outdoor kitchen. So you can, this is an option. You can either get it as a storage area, which may actually be more useful because storage is pretty limited on a camper this small, but we thought we would use this kitchen, which is pretty neat. It actually just pulls out, and then you have a sink basin here with a hose hookup, and then you have another 2-burner stove outside, so you can cook outside instead of making a mess inside, which is kind of nice.
So people that have purchased Rpods are kind of fanatics about Rpods, and we've joined a Facebook group, and we've already learned so much from the Facebook group, but it will take you down a path of making modifications, learning how to do different things in your Rpod. Because it's a little rounded guy, it kind of looks like a toad or a frog, and every Rpod model has its own frog that's out doing something camp-like. Ours is actually hiking a mountain, which is perfect for us because we like hiking mountains, and it just kind of matched our personality. Another thing about Rpods is that they are pet friendly. So the Rpod actually came with pet bowls, and it's got some leash tie outs that are underneath here. So we envision bringing our dogs out and having a great day at the campsite and taking them hiking. We brought them into the camper once and they kind of didn't like it. They don't have any experience camping, so we're gonna have to work on that a little bit. But our goal is to get them out here, to get them leashed up so that they can hang out at the campsite and then travel a little bit with us.
The chances of you visiting Scales Lake Park in Southwest Indiana may be slim, but it's just one example of the outdoor opportunities found right outside your door. The pandemic situation and health setbacks often make us feel like the walls are closing in here at home, but time in the outdoors is one of our favorite ways to step out of the routine and find some open space. Could bank the turns. We hope the camper will offer even more chances to discover and explore new places here in Indiana, as well as go on some more ambitious adventures all across the country, while giving us the distance to stay safe and healthy.
We've completed a couple miles, I think, on the trail. We weren't keeping track. It's a really nice path. I mean, it has a lot of ups and downs, so you kind of need to be ready for a leg workout, but it is over 90 degrees today, and we were hoping for a breeze here under the trees. There's not much of one, and we're just really excited to get back into the air conditioning of our little pod.
Steph doesn't sweat, but that's a sweat spot right there.
There's a lot of sweat. And this area is known for ticks. I don't see any on my sweaty legs. You can get Lyme disease, which is bad, but you can also get a disease, well, an allergy to meat, which is the last thing we want. If you've seen our Florence videos or our Albania videos where we ate meat for 3 meals a day. So we gotta make sure we don't have the ticks and get back to that air conditioning. After coming back from our hike, we spent the rest of the afternoon not doing much, which is a good part about camping. It's also really hot outside, so there's not a lot of places you can go outside the AC and the shade. But we are getting ready to make our first dinner here. And we're gonna start easy. We're gonna start with tacos, and we're gonna start on our outside kitchen.
We ended the evening eating dinner with some friends who now live and travel in an RV full time, soaking up all the daylight and the rare chance to talk with people in person. It was an almost perfect night.
As we mentioned, we're about 10 minutes from our house. So we didn't really have anybody watch our dogs. We've just been going back and forth to check on them and spend some time with them. So we went back for the final time tonight. And as we were sitting there, our weather radio went off. And we had left the awning out on our brand new camper. And so I hurried back to the campground to get the awning in while Steph put the dogs away. And now it is starting to pour down rain.
Were there any clouds in the sky when we left?
Nope, it was hot. The air was not moving at all. It's probably dropped 20 degrees and it looks like a pretty severe storm. I don't know, 15, 20 miles north of here, but it looks like we're catching at least the tail end of it. Hopefully that's all we catch, because we'd have been much safer at home if the weather is going to be severe than we are in our tiny aluminum box.
We can't lose our pod on the first weekend. That just wouldn't bode well for the rest of 2020.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. Oh, the good times just begun.
Good morning, everybody. It is the next day, our last morning at our first campsite. We had a pretty rough night. We're also trying to sort out the issue with the buzzy air conditioner that you hear. I think we have that sorted for next time, but it is pretty loud and it kicks on and off. I think we both expected to like that noise to kind of lull us to sleep, but when it's going on and off all night, that is pretty intrusive to trying to sleep. So between that and the rain, it was a rough first night's sleep in the camper, but I think there are more restful nights to come. To finish our last morning here, we are doing something that is required of all Rpod owners, and that is earning our cinnamon roll badge. We have a microwave that doubles as a convection oven and grill in here, and so we are going to earn our cinnamon roll badge by making some Grand's cinnamon rolls in our microwave oven.
What do they look like?
They look pretty good. Really better than I've made it at home.
Oh wow! What do you think?
It's pretty good.
I mean, they're canned cinnamon rolls, but as far as those go, I think the quality could be high.
Breakfast of champions. Cinnamon rolls made in a camper and some Diet Coke. We are back at our real home after packing up everything that was in the travel trailer and kind of getting it ready to store for a few weeks until we can head out on our next camping trip.
Yeah, well, we'd like to probably go every weekend. It just probably doesn't make good sense for us. There's too much to do around here to take care of, so maybe once or twice a month will be how we try to get started here with our camping hobby. So we'll see. We've got a couple places in mind nearby within 30 or 45 minutes drive of here. It'll probably be 2 or 3 weeks from now before we head out again.
I think this was a good first camping experience, even with some tricky weather there at the end. It really helped boost our confidence to be able to get the travel trailer from the dealership 2 hours away to our house, and then to be able to take it 15 minutes away, set it up, have a successful weekend, and then bring it back home and store it.
And so by the end of the weekend, I at least had a pretty good feel for what it felt like to tow with the Edge, good or bad. There were some moments where I was like, we may be pushing this vehicle a bit too hard, but we'll try here in a couple weeks to go maybe 45 minutes away, and then the setup and tear down repeat process, and see again if we're just pushing it too hard, or if we're being a little too dangerous by using this vehicle, and then we may have to look at trading, which is really not something we wanted to do when we decided to get into camping, but if safety is at stake, then we definitely will consider that as an option.
We have grand visions of taking this little pod all over the country. I want it to go up the side of a mountain so I can hike out in Montana, but I think for the early trips we're going to stay on mainly flat surfaces, and we're going to look at maybe some of the northern United States for a bigger trip this year.
We really enjoyed the weekend out. It was great to kind of be out in nature. I mean, I guess you can call it campground nature, but it was close to woods, so we got to go on some hikes and that kind of thing, and we're excited for what's to come. We know we've got a lot to learn, but there's a lot of exploring to be done in this country, and we're excited to take on this new hobby full-time. Well, not full-time, but in a bigger way, I'll say.
We don't think that this will replace international travel, but the future is just really unknown right now, and especially with cases kind of going up in our area and some health issues that I'm facing personally, we don't know when the next time we're going to be able to internationally travel is, but we hope to do that again once that opportunity opens up. But the United States is huge and there's lots to explore, so I don't think we'll run out of ideas anytime soon.
Nope. So if you did like this camping video, it will be the first of many to come while we take a break from international travel. Please like and subscribe to our channel if you want to see more like this. Also, check out our friend's YouTube channel. We'll link it either in the description or up above here, called To Be Free RV. They are full-time RVers. We had hoped to do a little cameo or crossover video while we spent time with them this weekend, but it just didn't happen, so maybe we'll do that in the future and kind of compare and contrast part-time RV with full-time RV. And maybe that'll be useful for you guys. So I think that's it. So we will see you in the next camping video.
Bye.